Bar Side Movie Reviews.
All right. Boy, can I tell you how excited I am? We're going to talk episode 4, season 2, Into the Badlands. Wait, everybody just wait. Listen. Maybe you're watching this and you haven't seen any of the episodes of Into the Badlands yet, and I can only say, what are you waiting for? This is clearly the best show on AMC. People are going to fight me about that. Oh, you're crazy. Is it better than The Walking Dead? It's the best show on AMC. There, I said it. Comment below if you think I'm crazy. I will defend that to the ends of the earth. If you've not seen it, then you need to check it out. Let me help you. So here's the deal, you guys. If you have not seen season 1, the best place to see it is Netflix. Go ahead and binge it on Netflix. It's only 6 episodes, you guys. It's an easy binge. Get yourself a big tub of popcorn, maybe a Coca-Cola, which is really so bad for you. It's my advice. I really like Coca-Cola, but it's so bad for you. Go ahead and binge season 1. 6 episodes. Listen, it is an episode turner. When one ends, you cannot wait to see the next episode. So check that out on Netflix. You can also watch it on demand on whatever service you have, or you can watch it on AMC.com as well. The only problem with that is both of those methods have commercials. You watch it on Netflix, you don't have to worry about that. You go straight through, you don't have to worry about the commercials. So that's what I would suggest. Now, if you need to catch up on season 2, unfortunately, you do have to deal with the commercials. Whether you watch it on demand on whoever your service provider is, or on AMC.com, yeah. You got to deal with those commercials. You can't fast forward it either. I tried it. But anyway, do what you got to do and catch up. So you guys know that I was so excited about episode 4 because finally we were getting to meet the rest of the Barons. And I always wondered who they were. I wondered who the other Barons were in this narrative. And now that we've got to meet them, I'm so excited because I'm telling you, the meeting of the other Barons and all that we're going to get into has really kind of opened this series up for me. Like, I'm just like, wow. AMC, there's so many things that you can do with this. This show has so many layers, so many different aspects, so many different avenues just built into the narrative. Oh, listen, guys, I'm talking. We got something with a whole bunch of shelf life here. I mean, stuff that people will be talking about. The elements in this show are already amazing. The martial arts, the character development, the setting, all of it is unique. We've not seen anything like this on TV before. That's right, I said we've not seen anything like this on TV before. If you can think of something, then leave it in the comments to let me know. But I've not seen anything on TV like this before. So this thing is just very, very exciting. Okay, I'm back on track. Let's get into this. I'm just still thinking how, if you've not seen this, you got to check it out. Okay, Into the Badlands, season 2, episode 4, and I think it's something of the Iron Fox, or Poem of the Iron Fox is the name of this episode. So guys, listen, you already know my memory's bad. I forget stuff. Some of you guys have been so nice because you put it in the comments. You've helped me out. If I forget it, I'm an old man. That's all I can say about that. You see, I got the grays here. That is until I put the black dye in it. All right, guys, so let's jump in. When this opens, we actually see Quinn, who is getting ready to head to the Enclave. Yes, he knows about it. Boy, do you know how people are going to be like, when they see him, because they think their brother's dead. He is not dead. So anyway, he is getting ready to go to the Enclave and make his glorious revelation that I am not dead. Oh man, you should their faces when they see it's just priceless. So he's having a conversation with Vale, and Vale's like, listen, can you leave access to the sunroom because I want the baby to get some sun? And he's like, yeah. And I'm leaving Edgar behind to look after you. And Vale's like, no, it's okay. But Quinn's like, oh, for your safety, I have to do that. That man is so calculating. So even though Vale does know that there is a way of escape, she cannot take that way of escape, at least initially, because she's not going to be there by herself. Edgar's going to be there and he's going to be watching over her. So she's thinking that she can actually escape through the sunroom. But that doesn't work out. She's not able to do that. Edgar comes knocking, so she has to devise another plan. So what happens is she actually ends up drugging. Oh, shoot, I jumped the gun. Well, I'm going to finish this statement, then I'm going to go back and say something about Quinn. She actually ends up drugging Edgar, to put him asleep for an hour. She tries to escape. She's not able to escape. He wakes up. He comes after her, tries to stop her. She kicks his butt, ends up killing him, gets the keys off of him, tries to unlock the passage to the southern passage. The key breaks off in the door, and that is pretty much all we see of her scenario. So when we pick up the next episode, episode 5, I guess we're going to see what happens there, because at this point she's still stuck in the compound and Edgar's dead. And some folks will have some questions. What happened to Edgar? Did he slip and fall? No, not really. He got a rock and a pipe to the head, and that's why he's dead. So that's where we are. I jumped the gun because I definitely want to talk about Quinn's speech, because before this happens, they're having a conversation and Quinn is getting ready to take his clippers to the Enclave. And man, does he gives a speech that's so rousing. That's what you gotta love about Quinn's character. You might hate who he is as a person, but there is an element about him that I actually like and don't like at the same time. It's like a strange dichotomy. It's weird. But he's so daggone manipulating. Let me tell you something. The speech that he gives was fabulous. I mean, it was emotional. It was rousing. Like, Quinn is that dude that would have you jump off a bridge. I mean, literally, you are standing on the bridge. Somebody comes by and says, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm about to jump off the bridge." And you're smiling about it. As a matter of fact, "I'm about to jump off the bridge. What does it look like I'm doing?" And they ask you, what? Why are you jumping off the bridge? And you're like, "Well, because Quinn told me to do it." That's the kind of effect that Quinn has on people. That speech he gave was rousing. I mean, I have to admit it. I was like, yeah, let's go do it. And I'm not even a big fan of him, but I'm telling you, man, he can get in your head, and that's what makes his character so entertaining, you guys. That's just one person I've talked about that makes this show so good. So anyway, Quinn gives a speech, you guys. The Clippers are ready to go. They've got everything in motion. They're going to invade the conclave, and then we switch back. Now, I might be getting my order mixed up here. You guys know how that goes. Anything I mess up on, listen, this is a dialogue. Well, kind of a dialogue. If you comment, it'll be a dialogue. If not, it'll be a, what's the word for, I guess you can't have really a one log because you need like 2 people to have a conversation unless you're talking to yourself, and that's a whole nother problem. But anyway, I'm just talking about the show as I like to talk about it. So if I miss something, if I'm out of place, then correct me in the comments. I know you will. So we flash to Minerva, the widow, getting ready. I love, boy, Emily Beach. I love the widow. She's just one of my favorite characters. So they're having this whole conversation, trying to get ready, and then we find out that Tilda's not going, and Tilda's like, because she's expecting to go. And the widow says, "You know what? I'm taking Waldo instead. I want you to stay here and guard the girls in the compound. All right? That's what I want you to do." So we find out that she's taking Waldo, which to me makes a lot of sense, honestly. She should take Waldo. I like Tilda. I think Tilda is fierce. I think she's a heck of a fighter. I think that there's an aspect of her that's loyal. I'm still kind of in flux about her overall motivations, honestly. But I do think she cares about her mom. I do think she wants her mom to be safe. And I think that she really feels undercut when she finds out that you're not going. I'm taking Waldo. You're staying here. I do think this is a smart move, though, honestly. I think that Waldo knows what he's doing. I think he's an old player in this game. He knows the lay of the land. He understands the psychology of the different barons, the different players that will be involved in this event. And I think he needs to be there because he is the strategist. I don't think Tilda would work in that capacity. I just don't even think just kind of mentally, she's not developed enough to kind of play that role yet, should I say. So she's not going. Waldo is going. And it's funny because they had this conversation and Tilda looks at him and is like, "You know, if anything happens to her, I'm holding you responsible." And I love Waldo's response because he's like, "Well, no need to issue threats, Tinkerbell." I love when he calls her Tinkerbell. He's like, "Listen, let me tell you, if this thing goes south, it doesn't matter. I'll be dead anyway. So everybody, listen, we'll be dead. So you don't need to threaten me." So anyway, that's kind of just how that whole thing wraps up. And then we switch to MK. Now we don't see a lot of MK actually in this episode, but we do see him again. He returns to the dream state. That's what I call it, in the mirror room. Again, trying to find out what happened to his mom. He's really trying to figure that out. So he's in a dream state again. He of course, he enters the tent. He finds out that he killed his mom. At least that's what his dark chi form is saying to him. I still am not really sure what's going on with the dark chi. If you know, then let me know in the comments. I don't know whether to trust what the dark chi is saying, or did he really kill his mom? Because apparently he killed that boat full of people, according to what Sonny said. So I'm still a little bit lost about that. If you guys know, or you have a better grip, or you think you understand what's going on there, I'm not really sure. But in this episode, he does have another conversation with his dark chi. He learns a little bit more about the fact that he killed his mom, at least according to what the dark chi is saying. And that's really kind of all we see from him. He gets beat up again in the dream state, and then the next thing you know, we see him laying in the mirror room looking unconscious. He's just out. And that's really all we see from him in this episode. We don't see anything, we don't hear anything about Baji and Sunny. It looks like next episode we probably will get a little bit more of what's going on with them. But most of this episode is really wrapped up around the events of the Enclave, and that's what we wanted to get. So now we are back, and the widow is at the Enclave, and she's kind of hobnobbing with the other barons and all that kind of good stuff. I'm just so excited to see the other barons there. Oh man, it's so good to actually have them introduced into the narrative. So she's having a discussion, and she's really kind of trying to figure out, listen, how am I going to play this? So Waldo is kind of working the room, right? He's trying to find out what's going on with the other barons, kind of where they are with this whole discussion, who they're siding with, what alliances are with where, and all this good stuff, trying to figure out what is the widow's best play. That's why I said he needs to be there. See, Tilda could not have done this. Tilda could not have found out that information. Waldo needed to be there. So he gives her the information, and she's having a discussion with another Baroness, Madame Gao. And it's interesting because they're kind of having an interchange about how they became barons. And here's where we learn that she used to, Minerva, the widow, used to actually be a cog in Baron Gao's cog pens. So she's kind of like Jade. She's worked herself up to the top as well. And actually, I don't think I ever mentioned this before either, but Quinn also came from nothing and worked his way up to baronship. So be strong, cogs. There's an opportunity to join the upper ranks. I'm just kidding. That whole thing's awful. I actually hope they do get rid of this. I agree with the widow on that. But anyway, so we find that information out about her, so it's pretty interesting. But both of them are now baroness. So they're kind of having a discussion, and they're kind of trying to decide what they're going to do. And Madame Gao is just like Madame Gao. Now I'm thinking about Iron Fist. Baroness Gao is basically like, listen, I'm not really with what you're trying to do. I mean, you're trying to really kind of uproot this whole system, and everything is built on this system. I am not in line with that. That's not something that I support. But she does say that she will give her support under certain circumstances. So that's kind of how that whole thing works out. They get to the Enclave. She is there kind of presenting her whole idea, her whole notion about what should happen. And they're really voting on whether or not to kick her out or allow her to be as Baroness. And as you might think, the votes go down, and she really only gets one vote. And Madame Gao, Baroness Gao does not vote for her. So she doesn't have the number she needs to be successful. So the vote is that she is stripped of her title and that she is ejected from the Badlands. And that's just kind of where we are. And she's basically like, listen, you can try and take what you want, but it's going to be over my dead body. And Ryder's like, well, good, let's not wait. And he hits the thing under there, and he's got his sword under there. And is anybody surprised that there are weapons there, even though there's not supposed to be? And then they get ready to throw down. And then, man, let me tell you, Quinn rounds that corner, and people's faces are just like, they're just like, they can't believe it. They can't believe it. And I love just kind of how he walks in. Everybody is dumbfounded. Ryder is really about to pee on himself, and no love lost because I do like Ryder, but he's about to pee on himself. Like he is shaking in his boots. So we all know that Ryder really wrote a lie about having killed his father. We know that didn't happen. Sonny did it, but he's an opportunist, like a lot of people in the Badlands, and he took advantage of the opportunity to say that he killed his father, and now he should be buried. But he didn't do that. He did not do that. So he's about to pee on himself. Ryder's just like looking around like, oh crap. And everybody else is looking around like, what the heck? Yeah, he's not dead. And I love he comes in and he has some lines. If you guys remember, put it in the comments below, where he says something. He says something to him about about thanks for keeping my seat warm. I mean, man, Quinn is just something else. And then talks about him apparently like raiding his closet and like nothing's sacred. So he's back. So Quinn comes in, all the other Clippers come in. Now remember that these guys the other Bears don't really have a big fighting force there. And there are some, Ryder has some Clippers there, but Quinn brings like the full complement, right? So they come in, they start fighting, they start getting it on, and as you might think, and this is another reason why you should be watching the show, because the fight sequences in this show are just amazing. But it's not just the fight sequences that make the show so good. It is because the narrative is so good. The fight sequences just complement it, but it's that overall tone and feel of this show that makes it the best show on AMC. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Anyway, so they're getting into it. They're getting it done. They're getting it on. But for sure, the widow and Waldo are in trouble. Then you see Tilda. She hops up there. Waldo's about to get a spear through the eye. That poor man's been knocked out the wheelchair. The guy is on him and just slowly inching the knife in his eye. She jumps up there. Tilda jumps up on the rooftop, and she's like Waldo, and she throws her butterfly star, hits the guy in the temple. That guy's out, and then throws her mom the 2 straight swords, and then you know it's on, because boy, let me tell you, the widow got her main weapons back, but her hand to hand is a beast. Don't sleep on that. Her hand to hand is good. So the widow has got her swords back, and then she just starts slicing and dicing. Basically, it's on, right? Like everybody who gets in her path is just really just gets done. So they're all there, and then they have this scene that's really cool where Tilda comes down and Waldo's back in his chair, and the widow takes her place on one side of Waldo and Tilda on the other side, and they just kind of take this fighting stance. And it's just such an awesome scene. Now, meanwhile, Quinn is looking for Ryder, because he's like, oh, heck no. Quinn's looking for Ryder. So he's in the house looking for Ryder. He comes across Jade, and Jade tries to stop him. Jade is a foxy little one. She's cute. She's foxy, and she's like smart like a fox. So Jade is really kind of trying to talk to Quinn, while Ryder, you can see out the window. Ryder's like running across the field. Ryder's like, I'm out. So she's trying to buy him time, right, you guys? She's trying to buy him time. Ryder's trying to run away. Quinn sees that. And I thought that Quinn might have just given it to Jade. I thought that Quinn might have, but he didn't. He just kind of talks to her. But Quinn is he's such a fascinating character. So anyway, he takes off after Ryder, and he finally catches up to Ryder in kind of like this maze. Now here's what's really interesting there. He catches up with Ryder. Ryder tries to fight him back, really to not much avail. It's like a kid, it's like a grandmaster playing around with like a white belt or something like that, or a new martial arts student. Ryder didn't have a chance just really beating him in that way. But what's interesting is that Quinn still feels something for his son. That's why Quinn's character is so interesting. They're probably going to keep Quinn around for a long time. He's so layered that it's really going to be hard to get rid of him, just because he's such an interesting character. So listen, these two are going at it. Quinn disarms him, and there's a time really where Quinn could have killed him, but he doesn't. So he hits the sword on this statue, and it breaks. And he's really about to do Ryder in, but then he does something really interesting. He takes the sword and he turns it towards himself. He is impressed with the fact that his son has actually seized power. Ryder has done what Quinn has always taught him to do. Ryder has done what Quinn did not think he was capable of doing. He has done what he needed to do. He took power. And right then and there, what's fascinating about this is Quinn is really almost willing to lay down his own life to see Ryder fulfill what he tried so hard to instill in him, which is to take power at all costs. It doesn't matter what the ramifications are. It doesn't matter even if that means killing me, your father. You take power because that's what I've trained you to do. But Ryder can't do it. He can't do it. And Quinn is angry about that. I mean, Quinn literally has the sword at his throat, Son's hand on the sword, and he's telling Son, you take it. You take the power. And Ryder, all he has to do is run that sword through Quinn, and that's it. It won't be no getting up. Vale can't help that. I mean, that medicine bag's got a lot of tricks in it. I think I saw a cocaine vial on that shelf too. But Vale can't help that. He would be dead. Ryder can't do it. Ryder can't do it. Quinn gets so frustrated at the fact that his son will not do anything, including kill himself, that he turns the sword around and then he sticks it in Ryder's chest. And I think it went through Ryder's heart. So I don't know, I'm kind of hoping that something happens here. We can bring him back. I don't know how it might happen because Ryder was my boy. And I had some high hopes for what might happen with his character, but we'll see. But Quinn is so mad about that, he turns it around and he stabs his own son. And then he's whispering to his son, why? Why? Why didn't you do it? You gotta take power. And man, Ryder's response, you guys, Ryder's response had me. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was caught right here with that. He says, but you're my father. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like that really got me because you could see right there that Ryder always wanted this relationship with his dad that he never had. And despite the mistreatment, despite the way that his father, Quinn, abused him psychologically and emotionally, he had that connection to his dad. He couldn't kill his father. Man. And his father turns around and kills him. And you can see that it's hurting Quinn. And that's really kind of almost where we leave off, you guys, with that scene and the way that they shot it, the way that they produced it, just the soundtrack and all that went along with the show was really, really good. So that's kind of almost where we leave off. Now things are in disarray. It does look like none of the Barons were killed. So it looks like all the Barons got away. I'm really happy about that because that does give AMC some leverage with more of how they can develop those characters and really bring in different story arcs that really complement the whole story of Into the Badlands. So I'm happy about that. Thank you. And thank you for nothing happening to my girl, the widow. I appreciate that. But we end up with Waldo saying, listen, basically you're in trouble now. He's telling Minerva, the widow, that they're coming after you for what happened, but now they're more really worried about Quinn, so they got to get rid of him. So that might buy you a little bit of time, and if you're able to actually deliver Quinn's head on a stick, those are my words, then, you might be exonerated. They might not want to kill you. But how about Jade, though? Look at Jade. I love the women in this series. Jade is like, yo, as rightful next in line, I assume the role of Baroness. And we will not stop until Quinn is dead. Stand by your man. I don't know who sang that song, but girl, you're doing it. Listen, the ladies in this show, you guys know I love you. The ladies in this show are awesome. And I was like, yeah, Jade. And to see those Clippers bow down in front of her was just lovely. Man, got such powerful women in this show. This show is so good. So Jade now is another Baroness. We got 3 Baroness now. We got Baroness Gal, we got the Widow, and we got Jade. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of alliance between the Widow and Jade. I would not be surprised. I love where the show is going, man. I mean, they've made so many different things interesting, and there's so many options for this show to really grow within the context of just a larger story, the dynamic that's going on in the Badlands. There's so many different arcs that we could have. I mean, you know what? Like, I would love to see some arcs where we get a glimpse into the upbringing of some of the barons and kind of how all of that is impacted where they are currently. I'd love to hear Baji's backstory. I, I would love to hear Quinn's backstory. I didn't mean to say Quinn. I would love to hear Sonny's backstory as well. I mean, there's so many different aspects of what can go on here. That's why I said, listen, guys, if you're not watching the show, what is going on? Woo! All right. So we got season 5 coming up, you guys. And listen, I'm really hoping to do a collaboration at some point with Rob the Fiasco. He's big into this show as well, and he mentioned what we're doing here on Farside with it. But I got to collab with Rob. We talked about collabing maybe at the end of season 2 and just doing a total season collab. But I got to hook up with Rob before that. We got to get together and do something as well, because he's a big fan of this show also. Really excited about it like I am as well. So shout out to Rob Fiasco. Guys, if you've not checked this channel out, make sure that you check it out. It's Rob the Fiasco. I always refer to the channel as Fiasco Nation, but he's doing some great stuff there. He's a big fan of the show as well, and he's very funny. So you guys got to check Rob out. Listen, guys, I am done. Please make sure that you are sharing this. Please make sure that you are talking about Into the Badlands. Please make sure that you're doing all of that. This show is really the best show on AMC. I will fight that tooth and nail, hands down. I will debate anybody about any show on AMC. It doesn't matter. I will go there with you, because this is the best show on AMC. Guys, thank you so much as always. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. If I missed anything, please comment below and let me know, correct something I said or what have you. Or if you want to be a troll, then do that as well. It doesn't matter to me. Comments are comments. And sometimes people are mean on YouTube, but I can take it. But guys, seriously, please make sure that you comment, share it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We are really going to be digging into this show. I really want to do something now really on the ladies of the show, because I'm so impressed with them. And then eventually I actually want to do something on the costume design, because it's really good as well. I don't know how much you guys are paying attention to that, but it's really good as well. And I noticed something with the weapons and the whole feudal theme also, but actually also having the Chinese martial arts theme and how they've kind of mixed those two, which has been really cool to see also. And hopefully I'm going to do something like that. I know I said that the video on the martial arts breakdown was going to be really short, and it ended up being like 18 minutes or something like that. I didn't realize how long it was. But anyway, you guys, as always, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch. I really do appreciate it, you guys. We're really going to get into this show a lot more. Got some movie reviews coming up. I was going to check out Fast and Furious. I'm not going to anymore because I just lost my interest to see it. Check out Anthony from the Silver Screen Analysis. He actually has a really good view of Fast and Furious, so make sure you hop over there and check it out. But I'm going to pass on that one. But I will be checking out Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's on my list, and some other stuff too. But guys, thank you so much as always, and I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Oh, and the bell. Don't forget to hit that ding so that you can see when something else is coming up. All right. Bye-bye.